Thing ends in deadlock as Rivers NLC backs Nupeng strike. Rivers State Basic Education Board transfers teachers in major shake-up. Labour Party candidate in Rivers threatens court action over 5 billion naira tribunal bond. MOHA chairman declares alleged gang leader Cairo wanted. And in sports, Super Eagles ready to face South Africa in World Cup qualifier. Details of these and more after this break.
Congratulations, you're in the glory.
Now, a peace meeting between the federal government, Nupeng, and the Dangote Group has ended without an agreement. The closed-door session in Abuja was led by Labour Minister Mohammed Dingyadi and his colleague, Minister of State Nkiru Jocha. It was meant to stop Nupeng from going ahead with a strike, but despite the presence of Nupeng leaders, the NLC, TUC, and regulators, both sides failed to resolve their differences. Nupeng says the strike is to protest alleged moves by the Dangote refinery to stop its CNG tanker drivers from joining unions. But now the government is pleading with Nupeng to suspend the action, warning that even a day of strike could cause huge losses and hardship for Nigerians. Now, here in Rivers State, the chairman of the NLC, Alex Agbanwa, says the union is standing firmly with Nupeng as the nationwide strike kicks off. He told correspondent Yobi Oruwari that the action is to push the federal government to resolve welfare issues and long-standing concerns in the oil and gas sector.
So far as NLC in Rivers State is concerned, we stand on any position of the council fighting against whatever that is opposing the welfare of our members. And what Dangote is doing right now is like trying to deprive the workers' rights in terms of freedom of association and to join the union of their choice. We're totally against it. We also are in solidarity with Nupeng and every other stakeholder to say that Dangote should abide by the laws of this country.
Agbanwa says the union will keep monitoring compliance across the state. He also insists that under the Trade Union Act, Nupeng alone has the authority to unionize workers in the industry.
So far as the oil and gas industry is concerned, Nupeng have been given the legitimate right, based on the Trade Union Act, to unionize all haulage truck drivers in terms of petroleum distribution and haulage. Dangote coming to say that Nupeng does not have that right or not to bring another association, which is not a union, because the Trade Union Act is clearly states those that are supposed to, both association and unions, in terms of category, area of jurisdiction.
In the same vein, Nupeng's representative at the Port Harcourt refinery, Uche Udenwa, says the strike will be suspended once the government steps in and addresses their concerns.
It's going to be an indefinite one. If all the issues are met, the concerns of the union are met, it shouldn't last more than necessary. Then there will be no need to strike. You don't employ workers and then you want to form a union for them. If you are employing people within the oil and gas, they have to belong to Nupeng. You cannot create your own union, especially as an employer.
He explains that in Port Harcourt, enforcement is mainly happening at private depots. Meanwhile, another strike is looming. The Trade Union Congress has rejected the federal government's planned 5% tax on petroleum products, calling it reckless and an act of economic wickedness. The union says the policy would worsen hardship, cripple businesses, and push more Nigerians into poverty. TUC President General Festus Osifo and Secretary General N.A. Toro says say the government cannot continue to use citizens as sacrificial lambs for its economic policies. They are warning that if the plan is not withdrawn, the union will mobilize workers and the masses for the nationwide resistance, including a possible strike. Well, away from strikes now, as part of plans to respond proactively to the issue of recurring floods in River State, a central working committee on flood management and control has been inaugurated in Port Harcourt. This is according to the River State Sole Administrator, retired Vice Admiral Ibokete Ibas. This new development was announced at a sensitization campaign in Kana by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Environment, Orwell Okerinku.
River State, like many parts of Nigeria, has faced recurring flood challenges that disrupt communities, but with vulnerability comes the responsibility to prepare, adapt, and protect our people. The broader committee comprises the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, and the security agencies. When we plan ahead, the storm cannot sweep us away.
He also warned that the state will begin strict enforcement of environmental laws, urging residents to clear drainages, avoid building on waterways, and pay attention to early warning alerts.
Flood management cannot be achieved by government alone. It requires partnership between the public sector, whether as state or local governments. Floods are not new to us. For years, they have ravaged our communities. Your task is not merely to respond to disasters after they happen, but to anticipate the disaster areas, mitigate their impact.
Earlier, NEMA's head of operations in rivers, Eric Ebodage, shared tips on managing floods.
The volume of water that those waterways can take, if it's not well improved upon, you are going to have flooding. You don't need to block waterways. Open your water channels, you open your canals, you open your rivers, you dredge them, so that they can take more volume of water. You don't dump refuse in your waterways, you don't build on waterways. Then as a government, you still also need to improve those coping capacity that you have built for yourself. Make sure that every time you distill these waterways, you open up channels, expand those channels, and dredge those waters. As a community member, you can't stop it. Or peradventure that the water comes, please, you must leave the place immediately.
Well, education will get us talking now. To instill discipline and improve punctuality, the chairman of the River State Basic Education Board, Sam Oge, has ordered the immediate transfer of some teachers of Government Comprehensive Secondary School, Borokiri, over absenteeism. Now, he gave the directive while monitoring resumption on Monday.
You know, part of the problem of our schools is that we got to comprehensive school and saw that some teachers failed to resume work, and we took a decision in line with the board's policy. So we have decided that any teacher found not on his seat will be transferred as a punitive measure to his local government of origin. And that is one of the decisions we took today. We went there today and saw that some teachers were not on seat.
Oge also frowned at the rising cases of theft and vandalism in public schools. He says it is sad that criminals continue to loot and destroy learning facilities and vowed to go after them to ensure schools remain safe and conducive for students.
What I'm seeing here is an eyesore. There is no way you can describe this. That government spends its resources to provide school for the children, and human beings, not animals, will come here to destroy everything. I'm so ashamed that this can happen in our own state. You followed us around to observe what happened here. All the chairs have been removed, all the protectors removed. As the students are coming, they don't have anything to sit on. The teachers do not have anything to sit on, to work with. Everything had been removed, vandalized, taken away.
Now, he further assured that the board is working to fix the problem of inadequate manpower in some schools.
We will do everything within our means to ensure that we make use of limited teachers at our disposal, to ensure that all the schools have the minimum number of teachers to carry out their assignment. Some schools are overpopulated. Presently, we are here now. They have only 4 teachers. State School 1, Port Harcourt Township. And a school is supposed to have at least 6 arms. And there are only 4 teachers. Our resolve is that we will ensure, until government intervenes towards providing additional teachers, our policy is that we will ensure that all the schools are made functional.
Correspondent Mekotoka reports that Mr. Oge has also given a 7-day quit notice to retired staff and teachers still occupying government facilities, warning that they risk forceful eviction if they fail to comply. The Ministry of Education also monitored the resumption of schools on Monday. The permanent secretary says she was impressed with compliance, noting that some teachers have already started lessons. She urged parents to release their children fully, saying the holidays are over.
As we visited some schools, I think the compliance is good. Like Community Secondary School Mokurushi, the students were there in the hall having their devotion. The teachers were all there. So it shows that they are really asked to start the school year to show that the teachers are up in their games and the students were there attentive to what the teacher is doing. So I say it's a good one. Parents, please release their children, their wards to go back to school. The holiday is over so that they can shape their careers.
Meanwhile, with schools resuming for the 2025-2026 session, some parents in River State are complaining about school fees and unnecessary levies. They told our correspondent the fees are tough to pay and ask schools to show leniency. They also want the government to scrap unnecessary charges.
The expenses or the resumption is something that cannot be overemphasized because we are used to it. It's on the high side, and from my own discovery, it's as if all the private schools did an indoor meeting. Everywhere you go, there's an increase on fees and books, and it's either you pay or you look for another school. But the thing is, even that school you're looking for, there is still one bill waiting for you.
Government schools are different from private schools, so people need to make a choice. The private schools are not forcing you to come and pay school fees. You are the one who has chosen to go to a private school. You will do their bidding.
My appeal will be on the school to give the parents some time to enable them get back on their feet. I wish that everybody will enjoy a quick return back to school.
To election matters now. For persons who were part of the ad hoc staff from the recent local government elections and have yet to receive payment, the River State Independent Electoral Commission is asking you to be a little patient. Chairman of RISIEC, Dr. Michael Ode, says the commission is still verifying account details, and once that process is done, payment will be made immediately. He thanked the workers for their patience and understanding. But while RISIEC is asking for patience, a chairmanship candidate in the polls, Deye Pepo, says he's ready to head to court. He's challenging what he calls an outrageous 5 million naira security bond required before filing petitions. He spoke to correspondent Bioruwari.
If they fail to revert to the normal statutory fees, accepting the petition before any other payment of any security deposit, then we are going to sue the tribunal. We'll petition them to NJC. We'll sue them to the High Court. We'll petition them to NJC. We are going to make use of every legal avenue open to us. At the end of today, nothing is done. Tomorrow, we are going to sue the tribunal. I'm going to go on an ex parte injunction so that the court will hear it within 24 hours.
Pepo says the condition has shut out many candidates from contesting the election result.
The tribunal have placed a 5 million naira security bond, which is totally against the law. The Electoral Act that was amended is stipulated that a fee of not more than 5,000 should be paid as security bonds to take care of costs and weaknesses, not before the filing, but after the filing. But in this case, the tribunal have placed a gate to hinder candidates and deprive candidates of hearings. So it's totally condemnable. Tribunal does not reverse that. We are going to sue the tribunal.
However, Port Harcourt-based lawyer Uche Olewune insists the bond is standard practice and is refundable at the end of the case.
Before you file a case in tribunal, there's this amount of money they normally provide for you to deposit with the tribunal. The essence of that money is for you to show that the person is really serious to pursue his case diligently. Because of that matter, if there are fines made against that person, those fines, they should collect that fine from that money already deposited with the tribunal. That's the essence of that money. At the end of the day, ultimately, that money is refunded back to the litigant. No fine imposed on the person in the course of the matter generally.
He admits, though, that similar complaints were raised during the last general elections. Meanwhile, another Labour Party candidate, Charles Nkotaria, is also raising concerns. He says RISIEC has refused to release election results to opposition parties, making it impossible to file petitions at the tribunal.
None of the party knows the result. They just only announce the winner and refuse to announce the comprehensive result. Even when we approached them several times, they refused to. The party applied also, no way up till now. Ordinarily, we're not supposed to apply to get results of what result they have declared winner. If they don't have the collective result of every party that participated, how do they get winner? So it's really a troubling.
They have applied He pointed out that the 5 million naira bond and the 5-day window given for petitions contradict the 21 days provided by law.
At the place for every candidate that want to seek justice must pay a security bond of 5 million as an individual. So instead of the windows to apply for to file, it's supposed to be 21 days, but in this case they put it 5 days. That ended on the day of public holiday, the last Friday. We are supposed to approach the judiciary to seek redress where necessary. We have a lot going by the facts on ground. APC is not even meant to be in the ballot.
We go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll tell you why the Emoha chairman is on the hunt for a notorious gang leader in Emoha. Stay with us. Emoha local government area, Dr. Chida Lloyd has declared a gang leader known as Cairo wanted and placed a 2 million naira bounty on his head. Dr. Lloyd says Cairo and his gang are behind several crimes and killings in the Obele community. Back in July, the gang allegedly stormed a Council of Chiefs meeting and shot dead the vice chairman, Chief Ferdinand Dabiri, during his visit to the community today. During his visit to the community yesterday, Dr. Lloyd urged security agencies to move quickly and bring Cairo and his men to justice.
Obele is a very, very important community to this state and the nation. But over the period now, we'll be having cases of killings and so on and so forth. We are going to take very drastic steps to stamp out criminality in Obele. We hear there is one Cairo that came here and killed Chief Dabrison. I'm placing a ransom of 2 million on him. I want him dead or alive. We must bring peace to this community. Imagine a whole community like this, deserted.
Correspondent Mekotaka reports that Dr. Lloyd also raised concern that insecurity has forced many residents to flee Obele.
A community like this cannot be deserted. So we are, as a council, the police will be charged, mobilized to get him and all the other persons who have hand one way or the other in the killing of Chief Dabrison. We must bring peace back here. Imagine the children. They can't go to school because some hoodlums are here terrorizing people. So under my watch, we will not allow that. No one individual will be bigger than government. We will not tolerate that. So these children will come back to school. We will come back almost immediately and fix their schools. Like Mama here, they are scattered all over. They can't even go to farm.
Meanwhile, an indigene of the community, Festus Chimeka, is begging for urgent intervention. He says businesses are shut down and children can no longer go to schools.
Honestly, the kids are all at home. Parents don't let their children go to school because they are scared. Because of the hoodlums, because they have kids in that prison and they don't know who needs to be killed. So instead of going to school and the kid at school, you better have your children at home. Nobody going want to go to the classroom. Because if you go to farm and your kid at farm, so what's the benefit? So better stay home and then begin to beg for money.
Moving now to Obiakpot local government area where the chairman, Dr. Gift Wallo, says his administration will digitize revenue collection to stop illegal levies. Speaking on Nigeria Info's Morning Crossfire with Ifiemi Andrew, Dr. Wallo adds that residents will also be sensitized on the new system to ensure transparency.
We are working towards a digitization of our revenue collection system. That process is on. We get to a point where you don't need to talk to anybody. Nobody comes to you. The complaints about what is happening in communities about people who want to develop and people letting charges, some of those things are legitimate, some are not legitimate. What we will do is that we will streamline all these things, know the ones that are legitimate, educate our people, including the chiefs and the youths and the CDCs and all of that.
He says that an Obiakpot Information Center has now been set up across different platforms to allow residents to share feedback with the government. From Obiakpot, let's take you to Ahoda East local government area where the chairman, Solomon Abuba, says he will discharge his responsibilities with sincerity, humility, and dedication. He made this promise during the inauguration of his vice chairman, Mrs. Florence Oduku, at the council secretariat. Mr. Abuba says he will not take for granted the confidence and trust reposed in him by the people during the just concluded local government council elections.
But to every man, woman, youth, and child of Ahoda East local government area, it is a collective call to service. I pledge before God, before you today, that I shall lead with transparency, fairness, accountability. I will run an all-inclusive government.
The Ahoda East chairman also inaugurated the new Legislative Assembly and urged the councillors to work in harmony with the executive arm for the collective interests of the local government.
This chamber is a marketplace for robust debates and at times sharp differences in opinions. Such difference must not be born out of acrimony and parochial interests, but in the interests and well-being of our people. You should resist every temptation to succumb to external pressures. I have the honor to proclaim the 10th Legislative Assembly of Ahoda East local government area.
In his acceptance speech, the newly elected leader of the assembly, Marvin Jonah, promised to lead with fairness and ensure that lawmakers prioritize the welfare of the people. Other elected principal officers include Uzoma Miller as deputy leader and Abalechi Gozie as chief whip. Our correspondent reports that Chairman Solomon Abuba also approved new appointments. Elijah Uhwetu as council secretary, Gostime Ego as chief of staff, and Eso Opuwari as Chief Security Officer. Precious Dogini was named Chief Protocol Officer. Moses Hamilton as Chief Press Secretary and Eze Ake as a legal advisor to the council. We're not done with local government appointments. Now, this time, let's inform you that the chairman of Obubunkoro, James A. James, has approved new appointments into key positions. They include Godwin Jacob as Chief of Staff, Wari Senibo Monday Sontoye Maxwell as Chief Security Officer, Darlington Diri as Deputy CSO, Benson Idahusa as Chief Press Secretary, and Fubara Annabel Alabota as Deputy Press Secretary. Others are Ezekiel Wari Jaja as Chief Protocol Officer, Torunge Thursday Joseph as Deputy Chief Protocol Officer, and Bestman Silas Dokobo as Special Advisor on Media Publicity. The chairman, Mr. James, directed the appointees.
The show continues.
Apologies for that. Now, the chairman, Mr. James, directed the appointees to resume immediately and wished them success in their roles. Time for another break, but we have the latest from the camp of Nigeria's Super Eagles plus the chaos in the French government when we come back. Please stay with us.
Congratulations, you're a sinner.
2026 World Cup qualifier against the Bafana Bafana of South Africa. Nigeria faced South Africa in a make-or-break encounter at 5 p.m. Nigeria time, a game the Super Eagles must win to brighten their chances of reaching next year's World Cup. Now, Coach Shell also adds that he's not worried about a possible point deduction for South Africa, who fielded an ineligible player in one of their qualifiers earlier. The Nigerian coach says world governing body FIFA will have to make the decision. On the international scene, France is facing a fresh political crisis after Prime Minister Francois Bayrou lost a confidence vote in the National Assembly by 364 to 194. Now, he's expected to present his government's resignation to President Emmanuel Macron, who must now decide on a replacement. Options on the table include appointing a center-right prime minister, reaching out to the socialists, or dissolving parliament for fresh elections. Meanwhile, the far-left France Unbowed Party is calling for Macron himself to resign, though analysts say that is unlikely. Now, that's the news package for this hour, but just before we go, here is a recap of our major headlines. We told you that the meeting between the federal government, NUPENG, and Dangote ended in a deadlock as Rivers NLC insists it is backing the NUPENG strike. We also reported that the chairman of the Rivers State Basic Education Board has transferred some teachers in major shakeup. You heard a Labour Party candidate in Rivers threatening court action over 5 million naira tribunal bond. And we brought you a report from Emoha where the chairman has declared an alleged gang leader Cairo wanted. The news was edited by Ufoma Ebamono. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808 721 7215. I am Ife Chukwumoyeli. Many thanks for listening.